Long ago, in a peaceful village surrounded by towering mountains, lived a young man named Kaito. Unlike the villagers, who spent their days tending to crops, weaving fabrics, or trading goods, Kaito preferred to lie beneath a cherry blossom tree by the river. The villagers called him Lazy Kaito, and often whispered about his lack of ambition. But Kaito didn't mind their words. He believed life should be savored, not rushed. One day, a monk arrived in the village. Known for his wisdom, he attracted the villagers, who eagerly shared their struggles and sought his guidance. When they mentioned Kaito's laziness, the monk became curious and asked to meet him. The monk found Kaito napping by the river. Sitting beside him, the monk waited until Kaito stirred. When Kaito opened his eyes, he squinted at the stranger and asked, "Are you here to lecture me like the others?" The monk smiled gently. "Not at all. I've come to understand you. Tell me, young man, what do you seek in life?" Kaito stretched lazily and said, "Nothing really. This is enough for me. The sun, the breeze, the clouds." The monk nodded. "That sounds peaceful. But do you never wonder what lies beyond the horizon? What might await you if you explored the mountains you gaze at every day?" Kaito shook his head. "It sounds like too much effort." The monk chuckled. "Perhaps. But what if you didn't have to climb the mountain in one day? What if you took just one step toward it each day? Would you try then?" Kaito frowned, unsure. But something about the monk's words intrigued him. He finally agreed, more to humor the monk than out of genuine interest. The next morning, Kaito stood at the edge of the village, staring at the path leading to the tallest mountain. He took a hesitant step, then another. By mid-morning, he decided he'd walked enough and rested under a tree. "This isn't so bad," he thought. The following day, he walked a little farther, stopping to admire the flowers and listen to the birds. Days turned into weeks, and Kaito began to notice changes. His legs grew stronger, and his mind felt sharper. He started to appreciate the world around him, the rustle of leaves in the wind, the sparkle of dew in the grass, and the way the sunlight filtered through the trees. The mountain, once a distant and impossible goal, no longer felt so intimidating. As Kaito climbed higher, the journey grew more challenging. The path was steep and uneven, and the air thinner. He slipped on wet rocks and stumbled over roots. At times he was tempted to turn back, but the monk's words echoed in his mind, one step at a time. Slowly, he began to see each obstacle as part of the journey, not a reason to stop. One evening, as Kaito rested near a campfire, he met an old shepherd who lived on the mountain. The shepherd smiled and said, "You've come far, young man. But remember, the summit is not the only treasure. The real gift is what you find along the way." Kaito pondered the shepherd's words as he continued his climb. The mountain taught him patience, perseverance, and the value of small efforts. Each step revealed a little more of himself, his fears, his strengths, and his capacity for growth. Months after his journey began, Kaito finally reached the summit. The view was breathtaking. The valley below stretched endlessly, and the clouds seemed close enough to touch. But what moved Kaito most wasn't the scenery. It was the realization that he had transformed. The boy who once lay idle by the river had discovered the power of persistence and the beauty of striving toward something greater than himself. When Kaito returned to the village, the people were astonished. No longer did they see him as lazy Kaito. They gathered around him, eager to hear about his journey. "What did you find at the top of the mountain?" someone asked. Kaito smiled. "The summit was beautiful, but that wasn't the reward. The reward was everything I learned on the way. Life isn't about rushing to the end. It's about taking one step at a time, discovering what each moment has to teach you." From that day on, Kaito became a source of inspiration in the village. He didn't ask others to climb mountains, but he encouraged them to take small steps toward their own goals. And while he still loved lying under the cherry blossom tree, he now saw the world with new eyes. Not as a place to drift through, but as a path to be explored, one step at a time. Let's learn some words from the story. Intrigued, meaning to be very interested or curious about something. Example: he was intrigued by the idea of exploring new cities, so he began planning his travels. Intimidating, meaning making someone feel afraid or nervous because it seems too difficult or dangerous. Example: the tall, dark mountain looked intimidating, but Sarah was determined to climb it. Echoed, meaning to repeat or reverberate in sound, often used metaphorically to suggest a thought or feeling that repeats in one's mind. Example: her grandmother's advice echoed in her mind throughout the day. Perseverance, meaning the ability to keep going in spite of difficulties or challenges. Example: her perseverance in studying for months helped her pass the toughest exam of her life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.